Gluing down the panels. Spread the glue all around so it's even, and then brush it down. I'll flip it over and just finish nail it in. And give the best, most secure adhesion. This is to finish off the table. And these pieces too, purposely leave them rough looking just for the aesthetics. As long as I get this first one down straight, the rest of them will look good. Get the first one in, the rest of them are easy. This wood glue too, once you put this wood glue down, this stuff is stronger than the wood itself, so it'll hold. You'll end up breaking these panels if you ever try to take them off before the wood glue would come off. The brads are basically just to hold it in place while the glue dries. Side. A lot of times too with this, these thinner reclaimed wood panels, they're twisted, they're bowed a little bit just from being weathered, but that look is really what makes the piece. So, but they're thin enough that you can bend them in, and then once you have the wood glue set and the nails in, it holds them down nice and snug, and you got a nice straight finish. So it works out. Use the special dark. Just it gives a little bit more color to it, a little bit more contrast, and also too when you rub that in, you're going to see variation in color. It's going to bring this out the wood a little bit, and it's going to look a lot nicer than just the natural. So now what I'm doing, basically to clean this off, get all the dust particles out as much as possible, and then just use an old rag for this. Get a nice amount of that wax on that rag if you can. And then you're just going to rub that in. And you can see immediately how it starts to darken the wood. Make sure you get all the edges, things like that. And it's going to take a lot more application, so just keep putting it in there. And until you get that desired look and that feel. Now, I can go all the way and work it into every pore, but it's really not necessary. At least for the look that I'm doing, this is more of like a farmhouse table. So you want it to look old, you want it to look weathered, you want it to have all that character left in the wood. Also, too, just a side note, I would wear a thick work glove with this, leather gloves if possible, just because when you are rubbing this stuff in, you can definitely stick your hand on splinters or anything like that. Until it's finished, there's always a worry of that, and I've done it a lot of times, and it was the worst. So if you do have leather gloves, use the leather gloves. If you don't have leather gloves, get some leather gloves. So save your hands. And just if you're looking at it too, you can see the difference in the wood here. And it's night and day with the way it looks. And once it's finished and buffed out, throw this bad boy in the sun, it's gonna look great. Now you can do the same process with anything, with a brand new wood, if you'd rather do that, if you feel more comfortable with it. Again, this is just for looks. But this is the kind of stuff that makes your home or your house into a home. It gives that character. You know, this is going to be a piece that people will talk about. And that's the whole idea. All right, so for this wax, I'll do a coat, put it on pretty good, let it sit for a couple minutes, and I'll go out and buff it with another clean rag. And this will it'll give it a little bit of a shine, but it'll look great. right, so now that the wax has been sitting for a few minutes, not very long, take a nice clean rag, and then I'm basically just gonna buff it out. It's gonna give it a little bit of sheen to it. It's gonna really set that wax in, and by the time it's done, it's gonna basically just rubbing this wax into the pores of the unit. If you're doing this for your home or you're doing it professionally for customers, it's always good to go the extra mile. You know, for your quality of work, make sure you take your time with it. These finishing touches is what's going to make the piece that much more enjoyable to look at. Have in the home. And you'll see when we take this outside and put it in the sun, you're going to see that shine that comes out through it. It's just very nice. You can use a polyurethane or something like that. I do use polyurethane over the paint that I do. But for the wood surfaces, especially for this rustic type farmhouse deal, it just looks so much better with the wax. I don't know if you can tell on the camera, but if you look from certain angles, you really get an idea of that shine that you see.